Welcome to TV Africa News. Hope you had a beautiful day. This is Africa Today. My name is Nahaba Kajura. Let's first have the headlines.
In the news today, Mao visits Mengo. Don't take pictures at the polling station. In South Africa, authorities warn foreigners against COVID-19. And in sports, Crane's final squad for CHAN is out. These and more stories in our bulletin.
Let's have the news in details. The Democratic Party flag bearer in the presidential elections, Norbert Mao, has pledged to work with Mengo if he is elected in the office of president in the coming general elections.
Norbert Mao, the presidential candidate holding the DP flag, today afternoon paid a visit at Mengo to meet Katikiro and presented his manifesto consisting his promises to the people of Uganda once he's elected in office. Mao has vowed to promote agriculture, especially coffee growing commonly grown in Buganda, and increase on the household incomes of the people in Buganda region. With the relationship between central government and Buganda, Mao told Katikiro that he supports federalism and the rule of law.
Institutions of Traditional and Cultural Leaders Act eya 2011 okugabana obuyinza ne government ya wakati ekyo tukikiririzaamu nnyo era eri mu manifesto yaffe. Si baawano bokka, omulugwala ayagala federo, omutoora ayagala federo, omukyoola ayagala federo, n'abanyankole bw'obabuuza baagala federo.
In his remarks, the Katikiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, emphasized the rule of law as the only way to democracy and development in the country.
We wished away, so the smart move is to have a chokema dit, to rely on the rule of law and constitutionalism to resolve it. We have witnessed armed rebellions, and today, as we watch a violent electoral process, these, my friends, are the problems of Uganda. And nobody should tell you that Uganda's problems stem from allegiance to our different heritages.
Katikiro cautioned politicians to put Uganda ahead of their interests for the better future.
50 years from today, 10 years from today, 5 years from today, Uganda will still be lying at the equator in the heart of Africa, when all of us may have departed. So, in all these political endeavors, ladies and gentlemen, let's put Uganda first. Let's put the people of Uganda, especially the ordinary people, first.
Norbert Mao is not the first presidential candidate to visit Mengo. Just recently, Joseph Kabuleta and new presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi also visited him. Draw closer. The Katikiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, has also advised Democratic Party members to consider and put Ugandans first if Uganda's problems are to be resolved. Nalgo Muyingo, reporting for TV Africa, here at Bulange Mengo in Kampala.
The Democratic Party presidential candidate Norbert Mao asked the chairman of the Electoral Commission, Justice Simon Byabakama, to withdraw his new directives ahead of the coming elections. Norbert Mao, aspiring for president on DP ticket, attacked Simon Byabakama for issuing new directives to all people not to take pictures at the polling station, neither being near after casting of vote.
I have seen it, they have been in the field. By 11 o'clock, some of our people are already in another world of their own. Now, you can imagine you have supporters of opposing candidates, or at a polling station, at 1 o'clock.
However, Norbert Mao rubbishes these directives, saying that they are unlawful and against the rights of the voters.
The chairman of the Electoral Commission banning photography at polling stations. There is no legal basis. The chairman of the Electoral Commission is acting outside the law, and I think citizens should ignore him. More using zoom lenses. I wish to call upon the chairman of the Electoral Commission to work according to the law and to stop talking like a political mouthpiece of the ruling party.
We talked to some people who intend to vote about the matter, and this is what they have to say.
Kubanga twagala akalulu akalimu obwenkanya n'obwerufu. Bwe tuba tutusubira obwerufu ku lunaku olwo, lwaki ate tubeera bagana amasimu agasobola okukolektinga evidence? Bakolektinga ebyabwe n'abantu bakolektinga eki, na buli pate kolektinga ebyayo. Tulabe obo ebintu bye tuyina, bali ze tuyina zezimu. Obo kiraba.
Batusingako. Mu kutusingako, kyobola nti ne challenge eyinza okutugira mu kukuuma akalulu nga mwami Simon Byabakama bwe yakirese. Kubanga nze ng'omuvubuka ndowooza nti amasimu gakola nnyo okulabika nga gatambuza message. Era munnamawulire alina ekintu kyayinza okuba nga talabye, ng'ate ow'essimu yakikoze eki akirabye.
Tegese nnyo okubeera nga bafuula akalulu kaffe ffe bakandidate abamu bye tutagenda kukola ki kukkiriza. Nze Simon Byabakama muwagira The
National Unity Platform presidential candidate Robert Sentamu has continuously mobilized all his supporters to stay at the polling station after voting, take pictures for declaration forms and wait for results, but Byabakama says whoever is caught in this scenario will face charges and authorities.
Telling their people, what is this? Which protection? Under which law? Tell me that under this law, the candidate is supposed to protect his vote. We have said the law says each candidate is entitled to 2 agents. Each candidate.
Only 7 days remaining to the general elections due on 14th January this year. It is on this day that Ugandans will choose for their leaders as mandated in the constitution to change leaders every after 5 years. Report compiled by Nalugo Mwingo. 2020 has been a year of memories to some Ugandans, especially in the business sector due to COVID-19 pandemic. The countryman businesses went to a standstill in observing the lockdown measures issued by the authorities. Let's have the story.
On the side of Umeme, the power distribution company in Uganda, it has been a year of challenge and reflection. According to Peter Kawuju, the company spokesperson, for them to ensure their business continuity, they were forced to reduce on the staff for about 30% in contemplation of COVID-19 situation.
We also planned to spend about $80 million in terms of investments to improve reliability and the network. So we achieved this, and there's been great improvement in terms of the network reliability as we continue to power Uganda and serve everybody that has electricity needs. So
it is this year that almost Ugandans needed power, and a lot of complaints were being received and they had to respond immediately. In 2021, Kawuju promised good services to the people, especially power reliability networking, with the fact that it is with this year Ugandans are voting their leaders expected to be the following up on happenings using the local media channels. When asked about the tariffs which they issue every quarter of the year, whether they will be raised high considering the effects of COVID-19, Kawuju put it on the government regulatory body, the Electricity Regulatory Authority, ERA. However, explains how these tariffs are determined.
Off for this particular period to give room for maintenance to happen. And indeed that happens because we announce it, it also goes in the newspapers and we put it on our website. So the schedule is known because we want people to plan their days. For instance, if I'm running a salon, it helps me to plan when I should have a generator on standby, or I shouldn't come to work when I'm not going to have power. It doesn't make sense.
Umeme was given concession of distributing power in the country in 2005, and the contract runs for 20 years, making it 16 years serving Ugandans until 2025. According to Peter Kawuju, in 2005, only 30,000 people were able to subscribe the electricity, but as speaking now, the statistics has increasingly gone high.
We are serving over 1,530,000 customers. At the time the concession was given, the total distribution, power distribution in the whole country was about 300,000 customers or connections.
According to Electricity Regulatory Authority statistics, residential demand for electricity is at 24.4%, commercial at 11.16%, industrial at 60.64%, transport and agriculture has no demand for electricity as we talk.
Let's go for a break. Do stay with us.
Human security in general terms should be one of the new goals, and that certainly will include justice, the right to feel secured, rights to information, the right to know that they have an identity or national identity. They first need to know their rights, and that in itself may require some education. There are many people who don't know the provisions of their constitutions and the rights that are granted to them. So once you've taught them their rights, then you must be able to respect it when they claim it through the justice system. I think we've turned the corner. I think our many years of reform economic reform, our many years of democratization has set us on course. There are bound to be pockets, of failures and pockets of instability from time to time. Failure is just the other side of success. Failure can be a stepping stone. You can build upon the lessons of failure. Everybody now watches the indicators, make sure that they redouble their efforts and whatnot. So the sensitization of the achievement of those goals are now there almost in every country. And so that will make it easier for the new development goals to be achieved and to be achieved perhaps at a much faster pace.
Affectionately known as Liberia's Iron Lady, 72-year-old Ellen Johnson Sirleaf became Africa's first elected female head of state in 2005 following a presidential runoff. Born in Liberian capital Monrovia in 1938, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf studied economics and accounts at the College of West Africa until 1955. When she married James Sirleaf at the age of 17, she later divorced him after the relationship turned violent and has since become a champion for gender equality and women's rights. In the 1950s, she traveled with her husband to the United States to continue her studies at the universities of Wisconsin, Madison, and Colorado. Boulder, Sirleaf later studied economics and public policy at Harvard's John F. Kennedy School of Government, gaining a Master of Public Administration. In 1972, she returned to her native Liberia to work under the government of William Tolbert, where she served as Assistant Minister of Finance and later Minister of Finance. Following Samuel Doe's military coup in 1980, Sirleaf was briefly imprisoned and later fled Liberia, publicly criticizing the regime. She was involved in the 1985 Liberian election and in 1992 was appointed Director of the United Nations Development Programme's Regional Bureau for Africa, from which she resigned in 1997 to run for president in Liberia. Coming a distant second to Charles Taylor, Sirleaf stood again for president as the candidate of the United Party in 2005. When she was placed second in the first round for voting behind footballer George Weah, but won 59% of the vote in the subsequent runoff elections, making her the first elected female head of state in Africa. In January 2010, she announced that she would run for a second term in the 2011 presidential elections, scheduled for October 11th. One veteran of Liberia's political scene said Sirleaf's nickname comes from her iron will and determination. She has been awarded the 2011 Nobel Peace Prize for her non-violent struggles for the safety of women and for women's right to fully participate in peace building.
Come back from the break, and in other news, consistency in business is a key factor when one is to achieve. Join us as we bring to you Ms. Prudence Kasibante, the proprietor of Keroma, the producers of Bella Wine, in our next episode.
In our next episode of the journey of Miss Prudence Kasibante, the proprietor of Keroma, the producers of Bella Wine, she narrates that it was not until decades later in December 2000 at the graduation ceremony of the daughter of Honorable Omara Atubo, her brother-in-law, that the thought of making local wine surfaced in her family. At the function, her son, the late Godwin Onika, who was 19 years old, a student at university, picked interest in the local wine which a farmer had brought at the ceremony, and everybody who tasted it said it was good. Since then, Prudence started a business of packing and selling wine around the city, and she's the first person to carry out this type of business in Uganda.
And people follow you, and very many people are putting food on their plates because of the business I started. I was the first one to pack wine in a bottle and put in a supermarket. But now how many have done it so? So that's a business idea which I brought. I feel so proud. I always compare it with the people who brought drugs.
This makes her so proud ever since, due to the honors and excellence she enjoys over times.
It's nothing good to be good and to do good things and to do a good product. You stand and say business is good, not meaning that it doesn't have challenges. You get challenges, but when you have struggled and solved those challenges and you reach a level where it is business is good, it's a very big achievement. Very few.
However, much as Prudence enjoys her achievements ever since her dream of making wine came into reality, she has met a lot of blocks on the way, especially in a midst of COVID-19, where all buys and selling of any alcohol is at hold. As a strong and focused businesswoman, she stood firm.
And which wants to close your business, but you fight very hard. This is not an easy time for bars, for these musicians. When the musicians have their concerts, of course, our products are being consumed. It also affects. I pray for them. Let them take heart. If you are not careful, you can even run mad. This is businesses which are run by young people who have just started life, but they should take heart. To achieve what you want, you have to go through suffering. There is no smooth life. For example, if you see people in marriage for 20, 30 years, not because it is a bed of roses, they have suffered and persevered. Like now, our head of state was in the bush for how many years? Mandela died a happy man. For 27 years he was in prison. So this year you have started down because of COVID. Don't commit suicide. Don't lose hope. Our buzz will be back to normal.
She cautions all ladies and men in business not to stick on one business, rather try all other alternatives and maintain the consistency to break through. According to the report released by MasterCard Index of Women's Entrepreneurship in March 2017, Uganda has the highest number of female entrepreneurship in the world, with 90.5% women borrowing and saving money to start business, which is significantly higher than 52.4% average of the low to lower middle income countries. In this report, Uganda has 34.8% of the business in Uganda is owned by women, making the East African nation the top performing country in Africa in terms of women entrepreneurship.
The legislators in Rwanda cautioned all the authorities in the country to embark on the new technologies, especially in today's COVID-19 pandemic situation.
During hearing session, Public Accounts Committee Chairperson Valens Muhakwa told Parliament that COVID-19 pandemic caught them by surprise, and he convinced that the use of virtual tools like WebEx and other technologies for public hearings as a tool to fight the spread of the virus. However, Muhakwa told Parliament that much as the use of technology, on the other hand, resulted in additional time spent on adjusting technology equipment and connecting, noting that as a result, but believes it is the way to go. Commenting on the lesson learned from the pandemic, he said that it is always good to have alternative means of carrying out parliamentary work during unforeseeable circumstances. The government of Rwanda set out various centers for testing all people, and those that are found with the symptoms are kept in isolation, not to continue spreading the virus. With the new improved technology, the government of Rwanda introduced the use of using robots for testing, and experts explain that it eases the process and reduces the spread of the virus, since more doctors were getting infected during the testing.
It's actually a partnership between Minister of Health, Minister of ICT, Rwanda Biomedical Center, and UNDP. So we worked with these partners to have this technology in place, and so far we have 5 robots that are in different treatment centers. We hope to expand this as we move on with our partners. And for me, the most important thing is to save lives, and there's no cost for life.
As I report now, the statistics shows Rwanda has reported 9,058 cases of coronavirus, 9,940 have recovered, and the positive test is at 2.1%. Rwanda was the first country in the sub-Saharan region to announce a total shutdown to mitigate the spread of the virus in the country.
South Africa authorities have given out serious warnings against the European nationals to observe the country's lockdown measures in order to stop the spread of COVID-19 virus.
Health Minister Dr. Zweli Mukize announced that 844 deaths were recorded in the past 24 hours, along with 21,000.
And in our sports today, Uganda Cranes final 20-man squad has been named ahead of Toto Chan final that starts on the 16th of this month in Cameroon. Let's have more of the story.
Uganda Cranes head coach Jonathan McKinstry has named his final squad for the Toto African Nations Championship CHAN 2020 finals to be held in Cameroon from 16th January to 7th February 2021. Uganda is in Group C alongside defending champions Morocco, neighbors Rwanda, and newcomers Togo. McKinstry has also confirmed that Vipers SC defender Lualiwa Khalid will captain the team. The Cranes, currently in Uganda, will play Niger on Thursday, 7th January 2021 in the final game of the pre-CHAN mini tournament before traveling to Douala on Friday, 8th January 2021, where they will hold another training camp for 1 week ahead of the group stage matches. The final 25-man squad: goalkeepers Lukwago Charles, KCCA FC, Mutakuwa Joel, Chetume FC, Arionzi Legason Nafian, URAFC, Ikara Tom, Police FC. Defenders: Hassan Mohamud, Police FC, Kayondo Abudu Aziz, Vipers SC, Mujuzi Mustafa, Chetume FC, Senjobe Eric, Police FC, Iguma Dennis, KCCA FC, Willa Paul, Vipers SC, Rualiwa Khalid, Vipers SC, Mbowa Paul Patrick, Kiara AFC. Midfielders: Maweje Tone, Police FC, Kajimu Shafik Kuchi, URA AFC, Anukan Bright, KCCA FC, Cheyune Said, URA AFC, Biaruhanga Bobos, Vipers SC, Watambara Abudu Karim, Vipers SC. Forwards will be having Ojera Joakim, URA AFC, Brian Ahebwa, KCCA FC, Ochen Ben, Police FC, Sekajugo Wakiso, Giants FC, Orit Ibrahim, Vipers SC, Jagason Mohammad Shaban, Vipers SC, Karissa Milton, Vipers SC. Uganda will open up with Rwanda on 18th and then play Togo on 22nd of January. Lastly, they will end the group matches with Morocco on 26th this month.
Thank you so much for watching the news with us. It is high time. I wish you well in everything that you do. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We shall keep updating you.
Audio Jungle. This is Africa, and that was the news.